Hey, Brian here from DotNet. Just been spending hours and hours trying to figure out how to get a simple SQL Server database and table to connect from within a C#. Let me show you the checklist and all this stuff you need to be aware of in order for this to work. Here's the actual source code. I've got all these different connection strings and what works and what doesn't work. This is the actual code that works. So I'll post this with the posting, and yeah, this was a real SOB to do. I thought it should be a lot simpler, but nonetheless, let me show you what needed to be done. Okay, there's a number of checklists you need to be aware of first. If you go into your control panel services, you'll see all these SQL Server services that are available. I just essentially went godlike. This is just a development box and just set everything to start and automatically start as well. This is SQL Server 2012. It is the Express Edition Enterprise, so I think it does somewhat work. But woo, what a mess this was. Anyway, so I've started all the different services from within the control panel. You can also get access to it through the Microsoft SQL Server under Control, Configuration Tools, and then just choose this Configuration Manager. That'll load up this puppy. Just a little easier to work with, but you see I got everything running automatically. This one's messed up for whatever reason. There's a few other things that you need to be aware of under this tool here, the SQL Server Configuration Manager. First, you need to ensure that your TCPIP services are working. You need to enable them. Right-click, disable, name pipes as well. Shared memory, I guess you could probably set that as well. And that's another thing you need to be aware of. You'll go batty if you don't follow these steps, because this is the configuration end of SQL Server. So you got to make sure you get everything all enabled here under the native client as well. There's a SQL Services configuration, 32-bit. I'm only 64-bit, so you don't have to worry about that. I hope I'm not losing you already. Okay, so under your Management Studio for SQL Server, easy to find, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, that will run. Now, there is a key here that you need to be aware of, because on your authentication can get kind of hairy. You got to make sure that you use both mixed modes. So if you come under your SQL Server database, under properties, it's under security. See here you have the server authentication. You can either just using the Windows authentication mode or a SQL Server and Windows authentication mode. I use both because for my C#, I want to be able to supply a specified user with the password as well in my code, which is more secure, I guess. And then it gets fun from there. Under your database, my case is Financial Demo. What you'll find is actually, yeah, if you come back to security, under users, you'll see you can add a new user, or you can just use current ones. So I have Trader and whoever, and it's just, you got to make sure that the right permissions are set, because it can get really hairy if you're not. And so again, this is probably not something I would do in production, but you just set everything to godlike just for development purposes. Yeah, it's not fun. Okay, you got your tables. Just see if there's anything else I'm missing here. permissions. Yeah, we got our trader guy, our trader user. So you should have access to grant them all, everything if you need to. So these are things you need to be aware of. Just letting you know about that, because if you're not following that, that's going to get really confusing from the coding perspective. So that comes down to a few things. There's a few options you can play with. In my case, you could, if you want, to create an ODBC under your control panel. Just do a search for ODBC. So you set up a data source. So in my case, I just set up this, added and create a new SQL Server data source. Let's see if I can configure it. Yeah. And then this is the wizard you walk through. You can add your name, your server. There's only going to be one server, or should be only one server, your local PC. And then you can, again, log in via the authentication of SQL Server, or the Windows authentication. Again, I go with a SQL Server authentication with a SQL Server user. In my case, I'm just, again, tinkering around using SA, which is the equivalent of root in MySQL. So let me just put the world's most secure password in there. And then you can grant which default database. You can say read write. In my case, all the default language, all that stuff. And then I'll go finish. Then you want to test the data source so it's connected successfully. So this is another way in how you can connect into SQL Server from the source code by just putting your data source name and then whatever you create it as. That's another option. But in my case, that I made it real easy, and this actually does work. First, this connection string that you're looking at came from this URL here. Yeah, this Stack Overflow comment. There's a comment here, suggestion of using that connection string, and by golly, it worked. After many hours, this works. So we are now putting in, as we're using the SQL Server Express edition of SQL Server Express edition. Our initial catalog is the database name, which is the financial demo in the management studio. That's it right here. Database, that's the initial catalog. Security info, user equals true. User ID is, of course, SA, and as I said, the password, the most secure that you can get out there, hello123. Oops, I shouldn't be telling you that. And in this case, the example to actually read in or do a select star from a table in the table here under my financial demo database, I have tickers. So if I do a query, select star, basic stuff, tickers, and then go execute. Oh no, we don't want that one. We want tickers. Whatever. And then execute. Yeah, you get some data there. We're doing the equivalent, but we're now connecting into the SQL Server. Now this was, like I said, a bitch to get going. And let's walk you through it. Now, yeah, okay, start. Okay, so in our debugger, we are here. Step outside. Okay, sets up the reader. Now it's going to select the ticker. Now, if you go under the connection info, let's see what we've got here. We've got financial demo, SQL Server Express, and some other stuff. It's got the workstation ID, yay. So now we can continue. Now here's the command, obviously select from tickers, which you just ran in the management studio. And what just happened here? Okay, so something just went bonkers. Oh, I think I just ended my session. Let me just start again here. Okay, there we go. So it's connected. I'm going to set up the command. We are now sending over the command, setting it up for the SQL Server client object. We're setting up the connection string right here. And now we're going to open it. Now, if it's going to bomb or an exception will be thrown, it'll be in this open here. And look at that, it actually worked. So let's just take a look at that. Data source, SQL Server Express, there's the version. So it is connected into my SQL Server, the running instance of it, because remember we have those services running. Doesn't matter, all these are running as I've shown you before. And now we're going to execute the reader, which is the command. So yeah, so we've set up the command reader here because we've set up the command type, text, and we set up the data. This should run. Yay! So let's see what's in the reader. Now this is where it gets interesting. So it says expanding results will enumerate, and then off we go. So here's all our data right here. Let me just do that again. Okay, so we're going to okay, so not good because it's already been read. Let me just finish this off and relaunch. Come into here, breakpoint, and then let me just show you that where we're just going to be. So I'm going to let it run. Okay. So I'm going to refresh. Okay, so here's all the data. Blame it on my Microsoft mouse there for that stuff. Okay, so we got a reader. Results. God, I gotta relaunch this. This is getting a little embarrassing. Don't mind me, I'm just... my mousing's not good in my interactive sessions here. Okay, so let me just run this. Okay. Step out. Okay. This should work. Let's put it. Refresh. So here's the results. Now in here, non-public values is what we want. So there you go. BAC. So there's our data. It is captured, or it's in the results. AXP. So that is working. Yay! Finally. And then we just tear down the session. So that's how you get your do a select star from one of your tables. Hopefully that will help you out and save you a boatload of time.